unless he's making a certain amount, or unless he's able to provide for himself and is making money. Well, newsflash, baby, I'm high maintenance because I'm the one that's maintaining it. It's me. So how can I come and live the life that I'm living and I'm enjoying it to come and be suffering with you? Does it make sense? Why would I come from up here to come down here to meet you at your level? Thunder fire every idiot that wants me to do.
Hello, guys. It is Lexus Exodus, leader of the Black Women Exodus. How are you guys doing? Like always, if you enjoy this content, please like and subscribe. Please share. Also, please comment in the comment section and in the chat. You guys are always so lit. So shout out to all you guys who listen every night during the lives, and then all you guys who comment later. Also, if you have any tips or suggestions, please send those to lexusexoduschannel@gmail.com if you have a story or something interesting that you want me to cover. So this is another daily installment of my series called The Blackistan Zoo, where we profile the animals, monsters, and other crazy creatures in Blackistan. And like I always preface this, I will continue to do this daily, Monday through Friday at 6:30 ET throughout the month of April. And then we'll level set at the end of the month just to make sure that the views, the likes, and the comments, and the shares all aligns with how much work these take. So if I have 1,000 views, I expect to see 1,000 likes and I expect to see 1,000 comments and 1,000 shares, or a proportionate amount at least. So yeah, if you haven't already done so, please engage, please share some feedback. Just say hey and let me know that you're listening. Okay, so enough of that. Let's get to what we came here for. So today we are going to profile the narcissist. So this one is like a really, really tough one. Just because I know, just from listening to several women's stories on other channels and listening to stories that a lot of the Black women that I know share and talk through, I know that this creature is insanely prevalent within Blackistan, and it is so common. So I'm sure if you're listening, if you've made it to my channel and you've divested, you probably most likely encountered a narcissist. So his habitat, he can be found laid up with some unsuspecting naive mammy or Bekisha. Their behavior. So let's go through their behavior, and then we'll go through really examining this creature in its natural habitat. So the profile of a narcissist, so they'll have an exaggerated sense of self-importance. So really inflated self-esteem, really high self-image of themselves, even though they're a shitty person. They have a sense of entitlement and require constant, excessive admiration. So they feel like you owe them something. They feel like they're due something. So, let's think about just recently with the Goldman Sachs decision to donate the $10 billion to Black women. They got a lot of these narcissists got really frustrated and got really annoyed and really triggered because they're entitled and felt like they were owed another person's money. We went through tons of videos where these men were saying verbatim, you cannot give us money. If you're going to give us money, then we tell you how we use it. You don't just get to give it to the women within the community. They expect to be recognized as superior even without achievements that warrant it. Oof. And that is a doozy and a mouthful. So when I think of that, I think of Kevin Samuels talking about how society would fail if it weren't for men and the men like him. And it's like, well, what achievements and what contributions have this group of men specifically? What have you made that is sustaining society? Because last time I checked, we know. We know who's been dominating and who's been contributing and who's been solely responsible for all the economic strides, how we sustain ourselves, we get food and water, grocery store chains, and how we have clean water. It's not them. So, but they expect and take credit for those contributions, although they're not responsible for any of them. Exaggerated achievements and talents. That is a telltale sign of a narcissist. So he'll make up all of these inflated stories about different things that he's done. And when I think about that, I think about my ex, and he'll, talk about how, he went to UCLA on a football scholarship when really he did not. I know he talked about, how he worked at a jail as a guard, and no, there's no local jail where we live. Oops, I almost said what city I live. But there's no local jail nearby in this city. And he would lie about things like that. He would lie about where he was from. He told me he was, where is it that Rihanna's from? Barbados, for no reason. So just lying for no reason, making up all these stories. He'll make up all these stories about, how he's buying a house, or how he's, got all this money in the bank, and really, it turns out you have a 500 credit score and you're in debt. And the reason why I know is because we recently went through a custody battle where, I subpoenaed all of his financial documents, and he had like 6 evictions in over 12-month period. So they'll be preoccupied with fantasies about success, power, brilliance, beauty, or the perfect mate. They believe they're superior. They monopolize conversations and belittle or look down on people they perceive as inferior. They expect special favors. So that goes with that entitlement. And they expect for you to comply with their expectations. They take advantage of others to get what they want. So we think about the homosexual who intentionally dates women just so he can have a place to live. Or, we think about, the baby daddies who only come around during tax time because they broke and they want to get some of that money, although they haven't contributed at all to taking care of your child. They want some of that money. They may become impatient or angry when they don't receive special treatment. So they get frustrated. They have that entitlement. When we think about the stimulus check and this influx of women who were killed because the father of their children wanted the money that they received for COVID. React with rage or contempt and try to belittle the other person to make themselves superior. So they might be violent. They'll denigrate you, berate you. Having difficulty regulating emotions and behavior. So they'll have anger issues and might act out. And deep down, although they present themselves as this confident person, this polished person who has it together and who has high self-esteem, deep down, they actually have secret feelings of insecurity, shame, vulnerability, and humiliation. So in these instances, you'll see lots of love bombing. So they may be the perfect guy at the beginning. That's why it's so important to take your time when you're dating. And that's with any race of men, to really, really take time to figure out who that person is and to make sure that their behavior aligns with who they say they are before getting serious. Because these men are great at wearing costumes and putting up facades, and then once they got you hook, line, and sinker, and you're married or you have children, then revealing their true colors. They also will gaslight you, so they'll do things, very triggering things, to make you frustrated. So I think of Melody Hall and her husband telling her on camera that he's filing for primary custody because he wants the children full time. And then once she starts yelling because she's visibly upset, this is her children. She holds her children to a high regard. Most mothers would take that very personal and would be incensed after hearing something like that. Well, after she reacted, yelling and screaming, he said, "Look at you acting crazy. This is why I don't want them to be around you." So that gaslighting behavior, doing things intentionally to trigger you, and then acting innocent, throwing rocks and hiding their hands once you get upset. And one thing I will say is I looked up the stats about narcissism and found out that statistically 75% of people with narcissistic personality disorder are men. And African Americans' narcissism scores average 2.3 times higher than for white males. So, what does that tell y'all? What does that tell y'all? Most of these fools are narcissists and are very dangerous. Narcissists are very, very evil, very conniving. As Black women, it really is very imperative that you stay far, far away from these men and be leery and be careful, because a narcissist is one of the most dangerous creatures within Blackistan, and they'll ruin your life. So notable narcissists. So I can think of so many, but it would be way too difficult to name them all. Kanye West is a telltale narcissist. He has these illusions of grandeur. One minute he's, talking about he wants to do a gospel album. Next minute he wants to run for president. Kevin Hart. So he was caught red-handed cheating on his pregnant wife's birthday. Derek Jackson, definitely a narcissist, get caught having affairs, then turns around and I don't know if you guys have been following him after this, but he ended up starting a marriage podcast now called Healing Your Marriage or Healing Love, something stupid like that. Also, talking in third person and promoting his book, although his wife is being publicly humiliated and he's embarrassed her, and all these side chicks are coming out the woodwork. He's thinking about how he can capitalize financially. I think 50 Cent is a telltale narcissist as well. When you think about all the publicity stunts, and then also a lot of his exes have come forward and have said that he was physically abusive, and then also just how he humiliates and publicly disowns that little boy who looks like he spit him out. So let's look at the narcissists in their true habitat. So that video clip, that TikTok summed up your telltale narcissist in 60 seconds. And that was really unsettling and disturbing because I've heard all of that verbatim, and I'm sure lots of you ladies who are listening have as well. So this fool talks about demons and trauma he's dealing with and how apologetic he is. And he's even crying on the video. And I remembered, this was triggering for me because I remember every time, I threatened to leave my ex, he would always cry and always talk about how, give this sob story about how he wanted his family. He also talked about not wanting to live. I've heard that before. I'm going to commit suicide. Pain from 10 years old. So they'll really weaponize bad experiences that they've been through. And this is why you can't really listen to them when they'll say, oh, well, R. Kelly was molested. And that's why he does that to little girls. It's like, well, we were too. We were too. And we went through experiences where a lot of us were abandoned by our fathers. A lot of us were assaulted sexually and physically, but we didn't turn into monsters. So that's why, you can't really listen to these fools when they say that, because they're intentionally doing that to be manipulative and to make you feel sorry. He talks about religion in that damn video. So I remember, my ex Tyrone would still attend my church even after we broke up. He had the pastor reach out to me multiple times. And I remember him texting me about, him getting baptized and saved. And it's because they know that's like our weakness. That's our point of vulnerability. And mammies will believe anything if you attach the Bible to it or God to it. And that's the stupid ass manipulative shit that you'll experience commonly. Also, they'll, give hope is what he said. So, yep, I remember, my son's father talking about therapy, even taking medication for his anger at one point. And of course that didn't work. It was only a matter of time before he was back to his bullshit. Back up on my bullshit. So yeah, this funny looking fool, is a rapper. So I think he just thought this would be a cool premise and a good idea or concept for a song. But that shit was way too convincing for me. And I'm not a very religious person, but it was something very sinister about watching him turn that on and off like that. It was very, very ominous, like almost like he was a different person. But that's the norm for your narcissist, to be able to turn personalities off and on like a light switch. So let's look at another narcissist in his true form, who got caught cheating on his Becky. So let's see.
You need to leave, and you need to leave.
I'm not leaving, Rachel. I don't give a damn what you're trying to say. I'm staying in this house.
No, you ain't.
Yes, I am. I'm staying in this house. I cheated on you. That shit ain't a big deal. It's time to get over that shit.
Not a big deal? Wow.
Yeah, it's not a big deal, man.
Wow.
You know, I'm not going to let you get with nobody else either. Like, that shit
Get away from me, Owen.
That shit ain't happening. You ain't
Get away from me.
You ain't get with nobody else.
Oh, okay. Okay, you need to leave.
Why are you back here, Owen? I kicked you out of the house because you cheated on me. So why are you back in this house right now?
Because you can't. This is my house, too. You can't legally kick me out.
So what are you going to do? Stay here?
I mean, yeah, I brought all my stuff back. This is my house, too. I love you. You can't kick me out of here. It's my home, too. I brought my stuff back. Why can't I stay?
Because you cheated on me.
Yeah, I love you.
I don't want you here.
Look, I'm sorry. I love you. I don't. You know I love you. I'm sorry, babe. Please. I want to marry you. I don't want to be separated anymore. I want us to be together.
I can't do it, Owen. I told you several times I can't do it. I just can't do it.
I love you, babe. Please don't do.
I can't do it. And you're going to wake up the kids. You got to go. You got to go.
So hopefully y'all could hear that. That was a lot to unpack. But so we have this Dusty. He got caught cheating, and his girlfriend is telling him that he needs to leave. And he approaches her aggressively and tells her, "I'm not leaving this house. I cheated. Who cares? Get over it." And this shit writes itself. Like, sometimes I watch this stuff that I share with y'all, and I'm like so far removed from this mess and this toxicity, and I'm so far divested. It's hard for me to believe sometimes. Like, sometimes I'll be thinking, like, this gotta be a joke. There's no way this can be real. Like, this gotta be like some skit they made up to go viral. But then I recall, and I'm quickly reminded of my experiences before I divested. And I remember my dating life being just like a Tyler Perry movie, being just like this. And remember all too well how life is when you deal with these fools. And this is so funny because Cynthia G started calling them 3 trash bag Carrie and Dusties. And look, he got his little trash bag with his belongings, because he ain't got a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of, but then got the nerve to find time to cheat in her house. This is ridiculous, and it's so embarrassing. And of course, this girl probably thought, due to this self-hating fool pedestalizing her, that she would be treated better. And he literally told her, "Yeah, I cheated. So what? Get over it." Very stoically, no emotion, no empathy, like a true narcissist. And he approaches her like he's about to attack her and says, "You're not going to be with anybody else. I'm not going to let you be with anybody else." And speaking as a domestic violence survivor, that aggressiveness that he's showing on camera and that controlling behavior and possessiveness he's displaying are definitely red flags and signs that he is putting his hands on her behind closed doors. Because if he's comfortable doing that while she's recording, you can only imagine what he's doing while they're in private. So he tells her, "I'm not leaving, and I'm going to take a wild guess. This is probably not his home. This is her home. That's why he only has a half full trash bag full of his belongings." I'm sure it doesn't look like he has a job. He looks like your typical Dusty, had the nerve to cheat with your broke ass, and you unemployed and don't even got a home. And then entitled, like we talked about, entitled, he expects compliance, although he is clearly mistreating this girl. And it gets worse. So let's watch the second clip. Okay.
So I keep getting comments like this, and what he or she is referring to is the reason I got cheated on is because I was with a black person. It is not about race. I've been with white people. They cheat. And also, dating one of them has gave me 3 beautiful children. Okay? And one of them is beautiful fucking people. Okay? So, let's not make this about race, because all races cheat. Okay? So I keep getting comments like this.
Okay. So here she is defending this bullshit, typical behavior, typical well behavior, defending this and saying it's not all. It's clear that mentally she is not all here, and he's taking a toll on her. Because I wouldn't be defending no damn body, y'all. I would be going back to Brad so quick. I would not be defending this bullshit. But that's your typical what you'll end up with messing with these narcissists. They'll ruin your life. Now she's a baby mom. Now she's a baby mom of 3. So life is going to be an uphill battle for her. Okay, let's look at this next narcissist, where this finds out that she is married to your typical narcissistic asshole.
What? You're pregnant. Congratulations, man. Congratulations, baby.
But look at the test.
What? There's 8. There's 12 of them.
What?
What are you talking about?
No.
You're pregnant.
Yes.
I got that. What about the test?
It says I'm pregnant.
I got that. By the balloons, then confirmed that to be, then the sticks out there. Very, very clear.
Y'all see that shit? And this is when they tell y'all, this looks like an educated lame, your so-called high-value male. And the caption said, when I told my ex-husband I was pregnant after IVF, he left soon after. So this is his response. You know, she's overjoyed and is excited about being pregnant and decorated the house with balloons. And he does not look happy. He does not look happy. This is a heartless, true narcissist. Because, she even captioned how they did IVF. So they were planning this pregnancy. And this damn fool got the nerve to be surprised and taken aback. Like he didn't know she was eventually going to get pregnant. It gets worse, y'all. Walk with me.
Okay. Yes, this is correct. He's being a helpful husband. Okay.
So these are clips of him administering the fertility shots. Yet he left her and abandoned her a few days later after he found out that they were pregnant. Y'all. And these poor girls are so naive. This is embarrassing. Lord, so then it gets worse. She talks about how once their child was born, how the baby was sick and had some medical issues, and just listen.
This relationship. The tipping point for me was when our son was born ill, and He wasn't there for his first surgery. He went to an appointment for his knees. And then when our son went back into the hospital for total liver failure, he responded to that by going to Las Vegas. So I was alone in the ICU with both of my kids, a 2-year-old and my 5-month-old who had just had a liver transplant. Explain that. I didn't expect that video to go viral. My ex-husband's reaction.
That's crazy.
I will say that it took me a really...
So y'all, she talks about how the fool, they planned this baby. So he giving her fertility shots so she can get pregnant. She tells him that she's finally pregnant. This fool leaves. And then they end up birthing an ill child. The son has liver failure, and this man goes to Vegas while their son is suffering in the hospital and his liver is failing him. Y'all, I think there's another one, but I'm telling y'all, okay, that's it. So I'm telling y'all, I started to feel like I watched this, and you start to feel sorry for these women, for these wells, because we are so conditioned as a whole just to feel sorry for these women's tears. But then I remember the thought process that got her here in the first place. So her stupid ass has privilege, has free access to the world's most powerful group of men, has access to limitless resources, and rejected that to be with this narcissistic fool because she thought she drank the Kool-Aid that she was better and would be treated better. And the fool chewed you up and spit you back out and humbled your ass real quick. Girl, now you just a bitter baby mama just like the rest of us. Whew, that's heavy, y'all. I'm telling y'all, but this is what you get. These horror stories, this is what you get. This is why you divest, ladies. I've seen worse. I've heard stories about women being in the hospital fighting for their lives, almost passing, giving birth to these men's children, and them being laid up with the next girl. As a matter of fact, damn, I just had an aha moment. I remember my mom telling me when I was very, very young that my father missed my birth because he was cheating on her with another woman. This is what you get. And if this don't illustrate why it is so important to divest and so important to open up your options, I don't know what to tell you. If you want to live a life of turmoil, of toxicity, of tears, of terror, here you go. Sign right up. But if you don't, you better move smarter. You better move strategically. You better learn from these women's mistakes. Okay. So then I also came across this guy on TikTok. His name is called Mental Illness on TikTok. That's his handle, @mentalillness. And he is a vocal, self-aware narcissist who came to the realization that he was a narcissist after therapy and after getting a medical diagnosis. So he talks through a lot of the telltale signs of narcissism and how he behaved when he was married. And if you're wondering if you're currently dealing with a narcissist or suspect that you are, this is a pretty interesting and helpful TikTok to follow. I would encourage you guys to. I will give you a trigger warning, though. It is very, very triggering, very depressing, especially having dealt with one, watching some of his content and seeing a lot of the experiences that he details. He talks about experiences that I had verbatim. So the first thing he talks about is how narcissists are so manipulative, how they'll intentionally do things that most people wouldn't even think about or be conscious of to establish these really strong, intense trauma bonds. So let's listen.
I done personally to like establish the trauma bond, to get people attached to me where they couldn't forget about me and things like that, you know. But like I said, my patterns are so obvious. Like I listen to the same music all the time. I've been listening to Usher since I was like 17 years old, 18 years old. I remember listening to Usher when I was in high school, getting out of high school and things like that. So I play the same Usher songs over and over and over again. And that type of stuff can be repetitive to people. And that can be like reinforcement, like it can be reinforced in your brain. So every time you hear my favorite Usher song, "Can You Help Me?" it makes you think about me. Every time you smell the scents that I wear, the cologne that I wear, the soap or the body wash that I use outside of the house, that makes you think about me. That type of stuff is like intermittent reinforcement without me even having to be there. So if I don't have to be there to reinforce, to trigger your brain, make you think about me, then that's even more powerful. Like. Because like I'm watching the same movies over and over and over again. I've done personally to like establish the trauma bond.
Okay. So yeah, it gets pretty deep. These fools are really fucked up. So he's talking about how he would use certain colognes over and over again, intentionally listen to the same songs over and over again, and intentionally watch the same movies over and over again on repeat. That way, if whoever he was romantically connected with decided to leave, anytime you're exposed to any of those things, you would think about him and miss him. That's deep and that's fucked up. And that just shows you how dangerous and how conniving and how manipulative these men are. He also talks about how the narcissist will oftentimes use trauma as a weapon. So we talked about how they'll say, "Oh, I was abused as a child. That's why I'm abusive now." Or, "Oh, I was molested. That's why I'm a pedophile," and things like that. So let's watch that clip.
To get you to stay. They'll say stuff like, "Hey, like I'm just leave me there. Like my mom abandoned me, so I expect all women to abandon me. So just go ahead and leave me there, because like nobody's ever there for me. Like I didn't expect you to be there for me either. I didn't expect you to understand where I'm coming from. Nobody ever understands me." Or they'll say stuff like, "My mom used to just yell at me and scream at me, so that's why I yell and scream at women, because like I look at you as you're my mom, so that's why I have to yell at you." Or the narcissist might even actually threaten to like unalive themselves because you leave. Well, since you leaving me, what point do I have to live anymore? I'm done living, and you don't want that on your conscience, so you stay. Trauma. A narcissist like own personal trauma.
Yeah.
Can be used as a weapon.
Let's pause that. So a lot of that stuff happened to me as well before I divested. So I recall a long time ago, and it's a vague memory. I tried to kind of push some of this stuff to the back of my brain, but now that I'm releasing this content and I'm sharing these stories and I'm trying my best to spread the message and save as many Black women as possible, a lot of this stuff is resurfacing as I release this content. So I remember being in an experience years ago where my ex, he cut himself and then sent me a picture of it saying that he was in a hospital and he had intentionally wounded himself because I wouldn't talk to him. And I remember just being so skeptical because he had pulled stunts like that before. And so I called around to every hospital in the city, every major hospital. And his bitch ass wasn't nowhere to be found in none of them. None of them. And you know, like this is what they do. "Oh, if you leave me, I'm going to kill myself. I'm going to harm myself." Like he said, just to guilt you into staying that way. You know, you would feel bad about leaving and are reluctant to leave because you don't want them to harm themselves. Yeah. Yeah. So I know that this was heavy, but I really do feel like this was an important one. It was an important message because this is one of the most dangerous creatures in Blackistan. And one thing I will say is that, these narcissists are heartless. They are devoid of empathy. They are very, very ruthless. They will break and destroy you. Like I said, they'll chew you up and spit you out. And then we'll leave you broken for the next man and we'll move on about themselves and sleep good at night and be with the next shit. And like I said, 75% of people with this personality disorder are men. And then African Americans are more likely to be narcissists. So what does that tell you, y'all? These men are found all throughout the community. Divest, y'all. Avoid these fools at all costs. All right. That's all I got. Until next time. See you guys. Bye.
If y'all come across a red iPhone, can you please bring it to the sound stage? Red iPhone, appreciate it.